This moment, if someone attempts to look you up, they will see your real identity, precise location, operating system, all the sites you have visited, the browser you used to surf the web, and so much more information about you and your life, which you probably didn't mean to share with unknown strangers who could easily use this data to exploit you. But not if you're using Tor.
Why does privacy have value, and what is that value? Is that value the same to you, to me? Well, it turns out that there's a whole industry that's actually working on that. It's monetizing privacy. Persuasive technology, in fact, is the intersection, of basically behavioral analytics and basically you. It's really trying to take advantage of your behavioral biases, right? Your fallacies, and really take advantage of that and market that to you. What is I2P? It is a decentralized network layer, end-to-end encryption. It is a totally enclosed net. There is no, basically, proxy to declare net. It's fully distributed, self-organizing, and resilient. Packet switch versus circuit switched. And that's pretty important because, as good as Tor is with the circuit switching, it's still basically open to a lot of attack vectors.
One of the most important problems is that we have lost control of our personal data. With Solid, we aim to reshape the relationship that people have with their data and the applications that they use. When the web started, decentralization was actually the default assumption. What was new about the web is universality, the fact that a decentralized system would work with many platforms. And the first threat to this universality started with the browser war. If you didn't have Internet Explorer, well, you're out of luck, that's the one browser you need. This also means as a developer you depended on Microsoft for your speed of innovation. At some point it didn't matter anymore which browser you were using, what mattered was the first page that you used to get on the web. If you're not on Google as a company, you're out of luck. If you as a developer want to innovate, well, you better make sure that whatever you do ranks highly on Google. If not, there's no point. You're not on Facebook? Well, you're out of luck. There's a couple of things you cannot use because you only have the sign in with Facebook button, right? So this couples your innovation to their innovation. And this is not great for universality, privacy, or innovation. In essence, the problem that we have is that data and applications are coupled together. It's very hard to share data across things. So because data is closely tied to the applications, you have this constant synchronization problem and you cannot share across boundaries. The applications on this side don't contain any data because the data is in people's personal data pods.
Hyperdrives are like networked folders. They have a URL, which is a cryptographic key, and they contain files. Your personal file system is private. It's kept off the network. Now, eventually it'll sync between your devices, but right now it's just kept completely off the internet. And it's kind of like your personal anchor into the Hyperdrive web, where you save all your personal information there, and if it's private, you save it directly as files on this. But then you can do this thing called mounting. And mounting is taking some other hyperdrive that exists on the internet and then adding it as a subfolder.
I want us now to think about not just 2 pieces of data being connected or 6 like he did, but I want to think about a world where everybody has put data on the web, and so virtually everything you can imagine is on the web. First thing is that those HTTP names, those things that start with HTTP:, we're using them not just for documents, now we're using them for things that the documents are about. We're using them for people. We're using them for places. We're using them for your products.
We need to be working to bridge users from the read-write web into the read-write trust web.
Information on it is centralized. It's all stored on big server farms like this one, and these are usually controlled by a single company. I mean, have you ever wondered what would happen if sites like YouTube or Wikipedia would go offline? But then why do we keep using such a model? Well, that's because we have high expectations when it comes to the web. Let's say you want to download a photo from the internet. When you do that, you tell the computer exactly where to find the photo. In this case, the location of the photo is the IP address or the domain name. To fix this, IPFS moves from location-based addressing to content-based addressing. Instead of saying where to find a resource, you just say what it is you want.
The thing that doesn't get said often is that moving from a location-addressed web to a content-addressed web is not just hashing the content. You actually have to solve a lot of the problems in the networking stack.
At any moment, you can wave your hand, you can create a world of your own. You don't have to pay anybody. You don't have to give permission. You don't have to think about which server is going to be holding it. You just, wave your hands and you have a world of your own. They're just going to say, oh, I don't even know what social media is. I don't know what servers are. I just know that I wanted a shared world and I wanted to invite my friend, and now the two of us are in this shared world. This is it.
It's a key that connects her to new types of applications. It's a wallet that keeps her data and valuables safe and sound. And it's a shield that protects her from hackers and data collectors. Sam can use next-generation applications that give control back to the users and the community, own her data and move seamlessly between sites, and send money across the world at a fraction of the cost. Sam controls her own identity on this new internet.
No more new passwords for every site she visits.
Just a secret phrase that controls her accounts. This phrase is her login, her password, and her proof of ownership all wrapped up in one.
You need to use a wallet. And Daedalus is actually pretty intuitive and getting better all the time.
Fully non-custodial, where you hold your own keys. That's actually what we like. I mean, we build a non-custodial wallet to allow users to do exactly that.